I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of a newsletter called Jay Taylor's Go Energy and Tech Stocks. I'm also the host of a radio show that airs every Tuesday on the Voice America Business Channel on the web, turning hard times into good times. I'm here with Michael Hudson. He is the CEO and chairman of Hannan Metals. It's a very exciting story in Peru. Project sedimentary hosted copper silver deposit. Well, we don't call it a deposit yet, a target with lots of mineralization, lots of upside potential, it would seem. They're just starting to explore this very massive project. It's certainly with a market cap of, as I see it, only around $38 million. I think the company has a huge amount of upside potential. So I'm really happy to have Michael here to talk with us today and give us the story of what he's up to with their San Martin property in Peru. Thanks for joining me, Michael.
Always a pleasure, Jay. Thanks for having me, of course.
Yes, so you have the San Martin property, which is a sedimentary hosted copper silver property. Talk a little bit about the geology, how it compares with some of the other very substantial like projects around the world.
Yeah, so San Martin is in eastern Peru, really a new frontier. We have a huge land there. We've got over 900 square kilometers we're exploring there, of which over 600 is in joint venture with the Japanese government's arm that looks for new metals for their industry, JOGMEC. The style of deposit that's your question is a sediment-hosted deposit, and these things form at basinal scale. So they're big systems. They form over large areas, and that's what we have. We have over 100 kilometers of strike of tenure of mining concessions in Peru, and we're finding copper at the same geological levels across that whole area. And the analogues that you also asked are some of the biggest copper producers on Earth. So we have the Central African Copper Belt in Africa, in the Congo predominantly, and then also the Kufa-Schiefer in Poland, in Europe, which is also huge. And these systems are only second to porphyries in terms of their production profile today, but they form certainly vast systems. And this new one of these, it really hasn't been explored much, maybe a few years of exploration in the late 90s these areas saw. But we've really unraveled it over the last year or so. And of course, that's demonstrated by our joint venture with JOGMEC. And then, of course, we're exploring in our own right, too, in a number of these areas.
So JOGMEC, obviously, they would have to see something potentially large, or they wouldn't get involved in a project like this, I take it, because they are a substantial entity, right? So talk to us a little bit about the joint venture that you have. What do they have to do? They're earning, I think, can earn 75%, if I'm not mistaken. Can you just talk a little bit about JOGMEC and the option agreement you have there? They will be spending a fair amount of money, I believe, to carry you through on that portion of your ground there, right?
Yeah, the good news is JOGMEC themselves are a wonderful partner and demonstrated that around the world with many companies over many years. This and the other good news is that Hannan shareholders are fully funded right through to feasibility here. Should we be successful, JOGMEC are taking all the high risk at this point in time, spending all the dollars without earning any interest as we work out what's there. So the numbers are at the high level, $35 million to go through to feasibility to earn 75%. The key part of the story, I suppose, in the next few years is that JOGMEC are spending $8 million during this exploration phase to determine where we're at. We're just about to finish the first year, even though we just inked this deal last month. It was retrospective back to the start of April, first year in March, and then we'll go ahead and spend $2 million from March onwards, and $2 million each year for the next few years, and then $3 million in the last year. So a lot of money in the ground to create that opportunity, we're operating. We're 100% owners until that $8 million has been spent. And so the next 3 years, we're 100% owners with somebody earning in. And that will be 51% their first earning if that money's spent, the $8 million.
Very good. Can you talk a little bit about the exploration program now? You're not going to be drilling, as I understand it, probably until the end of the year on the JOGMEC joint venture, right?
Yeah, the JOGMEC JV is the most advanced in San Martin, so it's the most likelihood to be drilled, of course, because we're most advanced. But really, in 2020, we lost a large part of the year, of course, due to the pandemic. We stood back and really only supported the local communities, but didn't put workers back in there as everything was unraveling. It hasn't got a lot better, is the truth, but we've had field teams on the ground as we've all learnt to work with this pandemic. So we take lots of precautions, but field teams went back in, social teams went back in, I should say, first in November and then field teams in December. And now we've got 3 field teams going with great gusto, working very hard, doing lots of, this is jungle territory, right? So it's literally, bashing your way up streams and with machetes into the forest or the jungle, looking for initially boulders in the creeks, and then we follow those boulders up the creeks to find outcrops. We're doing large stream sediment programs to define the larger area and those anomalous catchments to sort of shortcut our way in there. And then at the same time, we're doing a lot of social work. This is a key part of the program down there, and align with that social work, of course, is finding areas to drill. And then we do need to do a lot of environmental permitting and archaeological permitting that's required to get your drill holes in the ground. So that's started now, and we anticipate, as you say, drilling by the end of the year, which is about the right time because we'll have a hell of a lot more of an understanding. You'll see more news come out from this project over the next few weeks about what the results from the first 6 weeks of reconnaissance exploration has been.
I guess on the portion that is not joint ventured, you'll be doing some earlier exploration work, and then probably not doing any drilling this year. Probably 2022.
No, I doubt it, Jay. I mean, things are moving a bit more rapidly all around the place as people want regional development to move forward, and we've had a much greater reception from a lot of levels of society to get underway and get moving. But I don't want to set any expectations. I know it's probably, this is a worldwide comment, got a little easier to do things in the correct way than it was pre-pandemic for
Sure.
explorers, as people are looking to get things moving again. But yeah, we end of this year or early next year will be the truth machine.
Mm-hmm. And on January 14th, as if you didn't have a big, huge chunk of land already, you put out a press release announcing another big land grab. Talk to us about that. And is that something similar geologically, or are you looking at a different kind of a project there?
Yeah, we're swinging with the big boys now, Jay. We're a top 10 holder in Peru in terms of mineral tenure, and literally the average market capitalization of the top 10, which includes Hannan, is $50 billion, and here we are at 30 odd million market cap. So we've done what the big boys like to do, which is take big ground positions, because when you're looking for new deposits and grassroots deposits, and big deposits, you need big areas to explore within, and we've been able to identify these new frontier areas essentially in Peru. I've had nearly 30 years, 25 years experience in Peru, and lots of data and information, and that the lockdown provided us an ability to relook at all that information and these new frontier areas, and extend our search basically from San Martin a few hundred kilometers south. And we just staked over 900 square kilometers to get that over 1,800 square kilometer position. It's absolutely huge. You will also see some new information come out from these new areas. It's slightly different to San Martin. These are copper gold porphyries that form what we call the back arc porphyries. And the key point here is that they're porphyries that are gold rich generally in these environments. We're still yet to find something, and you'll see news come out about these areas. But these are the kind of deposits that the big gold companies are also going into, because they're struggling to find gold deposits of big enough size for them. So they're going to see that around the world. So it's a very attractive target style.
Well, you really have a lot going on there, Michael, and you're well funded, as I understand it. Of course, the JOGMEC is going to be taking care of most of that joint venture. for a while, but you have enough money in the bank to, you don't have to go back to the market right away. I guess.
Sorry, Jay, go ahead. We just broke up a little.
Go ahead. You will be raising money anytime soon? No?
Well, always a chicken and egg. Basically, we don't need to raise money, and we'll just make decisions as we go forward as to how fast we want to explore on our own right properties. We don't have to raise a cent because we're fully funded and we've got money to do earlier stage exploration. But we'll just see how we go going forward, I suppose, and how hard we want to hit these new areas as we learn about.
Well, Michael, it looks like you have an awful lot going on. I'm going to really be watching your story very carefully. I own shares myself. It's a company I cover in my letter, of course, my newsletter. I wish you all the best. Very exciting times. I think when the drill starts to turn, we start to see some results. It's going to be, well, it should be very exciting. Given the scale, the massive scale that you're looking at, it's quite a story. I thank you very much for spending the time with us, Michael, and look forward to keeping up with you going forward.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. We're in the right market. Copper's looking fantastic. We've got a great partner. Tens of committed to 1/3 of the project and a vast land holding and a very significant position in one of the most prolific belts of the world. So we're very excited for what's ahead of us this year.